On today's episode, we are going to take a quick look at Unity. This is a tier 1 stock for me, so this means it's one of my top 5 positions in my portfolio. Unity right now reports earnings on Tuesday, so in today's episode, I want to take a quick look at what are some of the things investors should keep their eyes out, and we're also going to take a quick look at some historical news for Unity and some of their fundamentals. So let's get started. So for those that are not familiar, Unity is traded under the New York Stock Exchange as ticker U. It's Unity Software, and right now it's sitting at $107. We can see for year to date, the stock unfortunately is down about 25.74%. And for the past year, from its 52-week high, the stock is down 37.9%. This is one of those stocks that really took a hit after the overall growth stock correction. So like I mentioned, they do report earnings on Tuesday, August 10th of 2021. One thing I do want to take a quick look at are some valuation metrics to see, hey, what are some of the yellow flags for Unity? What are some stuff investors should definitely keep an eye out? So if we look at Unity in their forward price to sales ratios, right now sitting at 23.25. So this I want to say is pretty high, especially even in the software market, it's still pretty high. So for Unity, what investors need to make sure, this is in my opinion, one of the yellow flags. For Unity to make sure things continue to grow, especially in stock price wise, we want to see strong revenue growth. And where it has another thing, let's take a quick look at technicals. Technicals informs, I want to say the stock price is not overextended. That doesn't mean the stock price has no risk. It just tells me a good portion of the risk has been eliminated. Obviously, things like earnings make stocks can change a lot of things. So stock price can continue to be volatile. But I do think in the long term of things, around these levels, I'm very, very comfortable building up a position. Even though Unity is already a tier 1 stock, it's already a top 5 position for me. Right now, I believe it's sitting at greater levels. For me, the greatest buying time would be around the 90s. I want to say anytime it's in the low 90s, in the high 80s, in the mid 90s, that's when I really, really like Unity, when I really like to build up a position. And like I said, right, Unity is definitely a growth stock. Analysts expect this company to grow in revenue 22.5% on average for the next 3 to 5 years. I think Unity in their most recent earnings say that they expect a multi-year 30% year-over-year growth. So this is definitely a growth stock. And before we keep looking at Unity, let's take a quick listen to today's sponsor, a great reason why I'm able to provide so much content to you guys for free. I want to thank the Motley for sponsoring this video. The Motley is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You guys know I love finding new investing tools and resources to help me scout out new growth stocks. And right now I have a discount for one of my favorite services the Fool offers. Through the Motley Stock Advisor services, you get access to a ton of expert stock picks. Every month you'll get 2 new picks that are aimed at growing your wealth and to help you realize your financial goals. Stock Advisor's average stock picks have done amazing returns. If growing your money is something you like to do more of this year, you can visit fool.com/Jose Najarro or click on the link below for access to my special offer and decide if the Stock Advisor is right for you. Thanks again to the Motley Fool, and now onto today's video. So if we take a look at historical quarter growth, in the last quarter, Unity grew 40.5%. The one before that, it grew 39.4%. The one before that, 53.3%. And the one before that was 42.48. This is all based on past earnings or information they gave before they went IPO. So overall, this company has been growing at roughly 40% for the past few quarters, right? And I do want to say some quarters may not be as strong. We're going to talk about that later on. But overall, in a yearly time frame, growing over that 30, 35, 40% is definitely what investors should see. Some things I do also want to mention before we take a quick look at some of their earnings numbers and some of their guidance is Unity on July 22nd. So about 2 weeks ago, they did acquire Interactive Data Visualizations. These are the creators of Speedtree Environment Creation Suite. So who the heck is Speedtree? So like you guys know, Unity is a gaming platform. They bought this kind of, it's a super small company. I think they only had like 10 employees. Speedtree is a place where if you are making a game, they have a huge variety of vegetations modeling that you can use. So if you're building some form of game that you need trees, this is the place you come for. A lot of great big companies, right? You guys might say, hey, why don't they just make trees? Here, Unity says that sometimes creating us a high level of detail and realism in trees can take time, can take can take, I don't know why I just messed up, can take upwards of 4 months. So obviously big companies would rather just pay for it. We have some big names right here that have worked with Speedtree. Again, this is a small acquisition, less than, I think it was about 10 employees. I don't think in the long term of things, this is really gonna impact much on Unity's revenue or bottom line numbers. I do think it's gonna allow them to provide more products and more services for their customers to make Unity a stronger platform in the game development world. This is the transaction closed already. The financial and legal terms were not disclosed. I want to say this is probably more. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a all stock deal. Again, very small company, so I don't think it's really going to affect anything in the bottom line of Unity. All right, so now let's take a look at their previous guidance and what analysts expect this company to have. So if we take a look at guidance given to us in their last earnings for Q1 of 2020, they gave us some strong numbers. Let me just find it for you guys real quick. So guidance for Q2 of 2021, they expect somewhere between $240 to $245 million in revenue. That represents about a 30 to 33% year-over-year growth. So we want that, right? I do believe anything below 30% is going to kind of give some form of negative aspect to investors. But Q2, 240 to 245. If we take a quick look at what analysts expect right now, there's about 11 analysts taking a look at Unity right now, and actually about 12 doing revenue estimate, and they expect average estimate to be about 243. So that's pretty much the midpoint of where actually Unity gives it. So Unity and analysts are giving roughly the same numbers. That's where we want to be, right between that 240 and 245 million, which will represent somewhere within like a 32% year-over-year growth. Super strong. For those that are not familiar, the ad tech has kind of been impacted a bit by some operating systems that have kind of changed the way they are collecting users' data. And Unity did say that they believe this is going to be an impact on their revenue. They say approximately about $30 million in 2021 will be affected due to this change in ad tech or the way companies collect user data. But they did raise their guidance by 50 million. So for this upcoming quarter, what do we want to see? We want to make sure that this IDFA has not changed much. If that 30 million, it was really the major impact, we don't want them coming in this quarter and be like, hey, I know we said $30 million impact for this year in the last earnings, but now we want to increase that to say the actual impact would be somewhere around 50 million, right? I believe that would also cause some form of negative impact. The best case scenario would be, hey, we've worked so well before this, we worked so well kind of pre-planning for these IDFA changes that the 30 million we gave you that we thought was going to be impacted was very conservative, and it's only about 10 millions. So that would be good news in my opinion. I do believe that would provide strong returns in the short term of things. So I don't think, one of the final things I think investors should keep an eye out is just some of the new customers, right? Unity right now is mainly known for is gaming developments, right? We know a few out of gaming companies have entered Unity. I want to continue to see a growth in there, right? I want them to tell me some more about some new customers entering outside of the gaming industry. I also want to see their overall improvements in the 3D simulation modeling as well. But overall, I do think Unity will be, for me, even if these earnings are going to be volatile, even though the stock price drops, as long as there's no major changes for Unity, it's one I'm going to continue to hold. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good night, and see you next time.